Today, we're really diving into something big. The growth of electric vehicles, EVs, across the U.S.
Yeah, it's moving fast.
And we're looking at it through the lens of payments, based on a really insightful article from NMI. What opportunities are opening up here?
Exactly. It's more than just cars. It's the whole system behind them. So our mission today is to map out the big trends in EV charging growth.
Right.
And really pinpoint where the opportunities lie for, businesses working in payments. Think of it as getting you up to speed on this fast-moving area.
Okay, so this NMI piece kicks off with some, well, pretty impressive numbers. It says public EV chargers have doubled since 2020. That sounds significant.
It is definitely progress. But compare that to how fast the EV market itself is growing. The number of EV models available, 5 times more since 2020. And sales last year hit 1.2 million again, about 5 times what they were in 2020.
And the article mentions something about costs, too, that EVs might actually become cheaper to produce than regular cars.
Yeah, potentially as early as 2027. It's a projection, of course.
Yeah.
But it feels like, a real tipping point could be coming.
A major shift, which makes the charging network even more critical. So where are we now? How many stations exactly?
Well, as of February 2024, the count was around 61,000 public charging stations.
Okay, 61,000 stations.
That's more than double 2020. And if you count individual plugs, or ports, that's 188,096 public ports, according to NREL data for 2024.
Almost 190,000 ports. And are these mostly the super fast ones, the DC fast chargers?
Well, it's interesting. DC fast chargers saw good growth, about 7.4%. But actually, level 2 chargers, the slightly slower ones, saw the most total new units installed.
Okay, so more focus perhaps on those everyday top-ups, like charging while you're shopping or at work?
Seems like it. A mix of strategies. You need the fast chargers for road trips, but the level 2s for more routine charging.
And location-wise, still mainly big cities, I assume.
That's where the highest numbers still are, yes. But the NMI article highlights a really interesting trend. Rural areas are actually catching up fast.
Really?
Yeah, charger growth in rural areas hit 34%, which is actually higher than the 29% in urban spots.
Huh. Any specific places leading that charge?
Well, states like Wyoming, North Dakota, West Virginia, they actually have the highest ratio of public chargers compared to how many EVs are registered there right now.
That is surprising. Maybe some forward planning going on.
Could be. But yeah, California still dominates in just the sheer number of ports overall. No surprise there.
Right. But growth is happening elsewhere, too.
Definitely. The Northeast saw almost 14% growth in 2024. The North Central region over 8%. The Southeast also over 8%. It's becoming much more widespread.
And this increasing availability must make a difference to people thinking about buying an EV. The article mentioned proximity.
Oh, absolutely crucial. It says 64% of Americans now live within 2 miles of a public charger.
2 miles.
And if you live even closer, like within 1 mile, you're almost 75% more likely to consider an EV for your next car. It really boosts confidence.
That's a huge psychological factor. But looking ahead, the numbers needed are pretty daunting, right? Something like 33 million EVs by 2030?
That's the projection. And NREL estimates that supporting that number means we'll need around 182,000 DC fast chargers.
Okay.
And get this, over 1 million level 2 chargers. 1,067,000 to be precise.
Over 1 million level 2s, so compared to the nearly 190,000 ports we have now.
We're only about 13% of the way there for the 2030 projection. A significant gap still exists.
It's a lot of building to do. Does the article talk about government policy and how changes in administration might affect things?
It touches on it, yeah. Policy shifts can definitely have an impact, and some programs have seen pauses.
Right.
But a key point the article makes is that a lot of the growth we've already seen has actually been driven by private and major car manufacturers making big commitments. So while government help is good, private sector momentum is really strong here.
Okay, that's important context. Now let's shift gears slightly to something the article really flags. Retail, parking lots.
Yes. This is fascinating. Only about 1% of U.S. retail locations currently offer EV charging.
1%, considering how many retail parking spots there must be.
Estimates are huge, like 60 to 120 million spots nationwide. It's this vast, untapped resource for chargers.
So connecting back to that 2030 need, the article suggests a big chunk of those chargers could or should be in retail settings.
Exactly. It breaks it down. Maybe 30,000 DC fast chargers and around 178,000 level 2 chargers are needed just in retail environments to meet that overall 2030 goal.
And we're seeing retailers get on board.
We are. Big names like Walmart, 7-Eleven, Circle K are making investments, and you see partnerships forming, like with ChargePoint and other networks.
Why are they doing it? What's the benefit for the retailer?
Well, several things. Offering charging, especially level 2, keeps customers on-site longer, maybe 50 minutes longer on average,
Okay, more browsing time.
and more spending time. Some data suggests people spend about an extra dollar for every extra minute they're there. Plus, something like 89% of EV drivers say they actually buy something while charging.
Nearly 90%. That's compelling.
And there's even a benefit just from being near chargers. Businesses near Tesla superchargers saw like a 5% revenue lift.
Interesting. So it's becoming a real competitive advantage. And they can charge for the charging, right? Or offer it free.
Yeah, they have options. Free perk, maybe paid parking that includes charging or charging per kilowatt hour. Lots of flexibility.
Which leads us neatly into the core payment opportunity that NMI highlights.
Precisely. This is where it gets really interesting for payments companies, because you need good payment options at these stations.
What does good mean here? Like lots of choices.
Variety, yes. People expect to use credit, debit, contactless, maybe a specific app, membership cards, even that plug-in charge tech where the car handles it.
Right, seamlessness.
Seamlessness, flexibility, and crucially, reliability. You absolutely cannot have drivers getting stranded because the payment system is down or glitchy.
And is that a problem currently? Payment failures.
The article points to a 2022 study showing, significant issues. Credit card payment failures were quite common, and drivers report frustrations.
So there's a clear pain point there.
A major one. And this is where the opportunity shifts. It's not just about building the physical charger anymore.
It's about making the payment part work smoothly.
Exactly. Improving the reliability and the whole user experience of paying. That's where the value add is now.
So what does that look like in practice? What needs improvement?
Several things mentioned. Better hardware, for starters. These terminals are outdoors, they need to be tough, weatherproof.
Makes sense.
Better connectivity. You need stable internet for transactions to go through reliably. More user-friendly interfaces making it obvious how to pay. Streamlined integration between the charger and the payment system. And better ways to handle errors, clear messages, maybe self-service options if something goes wrong.
So really focusing on the whole payment journey for the driver, making it dependable.
Dependable, easy, positive. That builds trust and encourages people to use the chargers. NMI, for instance, offers solutions like robust terminals and easier gateway integrations precisely to address these points.
Right, providing that better experience.
Exactly. A smooth payment process boosts driver satisfaction, which helps the whole EV ecosystem grow.
Okay, this has been a really fascinating deep dive. We've covered the rapid EV growth, the charging infrastructure trying to keep pace, the huge potential in retail, and critically, as that NMI article stressed, the massive opportunity not just in building chargers, but in making the payments for charging reliable and user-friendly.
That really is the key takeaway. The growth is undeniable, the need is clear, especially in retail, and the payments piece is becoming absolutely central to success.
So a final thought then, building on all this, looking at how fast things are moving.
Yeah.
What kind of payment innovations do you think will become truly essential? What's the next step for making EV charging payments completely seamless in the future?
That's the big question, isn't it? Thinking about that future state where paying is just an effortless part of plugging in, what tech or approaches will get us there? Definitely something for you, our listeners, to ponder.